The snowstorm hit the town like a punishment, swallowing streets, silencing cars, and trapping people inside their homes. It was the kind of night when no one expected miracles, the kind of night when the world felt too cold to care. Yet this was the night everything changed, because someone knocked on Talia Brooks' door. The knock was weak, almost lost inside the roaring wind. Talia turned from the small heater she kept close, hugging her thin sweater around her shoulders. Her old house shook each time the wind pushed against it, and she wondered who could possibly be outside. No neighbor would be foolish enough to walk in this storm. The knock came again, softer this time. Talia's heart kicked. She lived alone on the edge of the small Minnesota town, struggling to keep up with bills, repairs, and loneliness. Visitors were rare. Visitors on a night like this were impossible. Still, something inside her whispered, "Open the door." Talia stepped carefully, her socks sliding on the cold floor. She peeked through the small window, and her breath caught. An elderly man stood on her porch, leaning heavily on the railing as if the wind might carry him away. Snow clung to his hat and eyebrows. His coat looked soaked through. He was trembling violently. "Oh my God," Talia gasped. She flung the door open. "Sir. Come inside, quick." The man tried to speak but his lips barely moved. Talia pulled his arm over her shoulder and helped him inside. The moment he crossed the threshold, he stumbled, his knees giving out. "Easy. I've got you," she whispered. She guided him to her couch, faded, soft, the only warm thing she owned besides the heater. She grabbed a blanket and wrapped it around him. His breathing came in shallow, shaky gulps. "I'm Talia," she said, kneeling beside him. "You're safe here. Can you tell me your name?" The man blinked slowly, gathering whatever strength he had left. "Henry Walker." His voice was frail, barely more than air. "Henry, we need to warm you up," she said. "Just stay awake, okay?" She rushed to her tiny kitchen, boiled water, and made the only tea she had, ginger and honey. When she brought it back, his hands shook so hard he couldn't lift the cup. "Here," she said gently, helping him sip. Some color returned to his cheeks. "Thank you," he whispered. Talia smiled. Anyone would have helped. But Henry gave her a look that said he didn't believe that. As he rested, Talia noticed things that didn't fit. His coat, though drenched, was expensive. His shoes were well made. His speech was clear, refined. He didn't look like someone who wandered around in storms. "How did you get here?" she asked. "My car," Henry winced. "Slid off the road. I tried calling for help, but my phone died. I saw a light, yours." Talia shook her head in disbelief. "It's a miracle you made it to the porch." "Maybe," he said softly. "Or maybe I was supposed to." The storm intensified outside, pushing snow up against the windows. Talia knew no tow truck, no ambulance, no one would reach her street until morning. Henry would have to stay the night. "You'll sleep here," she said. "I'll take the floor." "No," Henry insisted weakly. "I can't take your bed." "You're not taking anything," she said firmly. "You're surviving. That's what matters." He looked at her with quiet gratitude. Hours passed. The storm raged. Talia kept checking on Henry, making sure he stayed warm. At one point she noticed him pressing a hand against his ribs. "Did you hurt yourself?" she asked. He exhaled shakily. "Fell getting out of the car. I'll be fine." "You need rest," she said. "And you need sleep," he replied, his gaze gentle. "But you're still here watching over me." Talia shrugged. "I don't know how to do anything else." Henry smiled faintly before drifting into sleep. Talia sat on the floor, hugging her knees, listening to the storm pound against the windows. Her life had been full of struggle, working double shifts at a nursing home, juggling overdue bills, feeling forgotten by the world. Yet tonight, she didn't feel alone. Strange how helping a stranger made the house feel less empty. When morning finally came, everything outside was buried under sheets of white. The storm had passed, but the roads were still dead. Talia heated oatmeal and brought a bowl to Henry, who had just woken up. "You didn't have to do all this," he murmured. "Yes, I did," she replied. He ate slowly, watching her with a thoughtful expression. "Talia," he said after a moment, "I need to call my son." "Of course." She handed him her phone. He dialed a number from memory. The call connected instantly. A sharp, commanding voice answered. "Where's my father?" Talia blinked. "Father?" Henry spoke softly, trying to calm the man on the other end. "Elliot. I'm safe." The voice softened, but only barely. "Dad, we've had the police searching for you all night." "I'm fine," Henry repeated. "A young woman helped me." Silence. Thick. Heavy. Suspicious. Then. "Send me your location," the man demanded. Henry ended the call slowly and handed back the phone. "My son is coming," he said. "But Talia. I should warn you." She frowned. "Warn me about what?" Henry hesitated. "My son is wealthy. Very wealthy. And when he sees where I am, he might think you took advantage of me." Talia stared at him. "I would never." "I know," Henry said gently. "But he doesn't know you. And he protects me more fiercely than you can imagine." Before she could respond, the distant rumble of large engines echoed through the snowy morning, several vehicles carving their way through the snow. Henry closed his eyes. "He's here." The rumbling grew louder, heavy tires crunching through deep snow, engines that didn't belong in a small, worn-down neighborhood like Talia's. She stepped to the window and pushed aside the curtain. A convoy of black SUVs emerged through the white haze, moving slowly but with the kind of certainty only people with power possessed. They didn't stop until they lined the entire street, forming a wall of vehicle doors and tinted windows. Talia's throat tightened. This wasn't a rescue. This was an arrival. Henry touched her arm gently. "Please don't be frightened." But fear was creeping in anyway. A back door opened, and a tall man stepped out, late 30s or early 40s, sharp jaw, slick dark coat, posture radiating authority. Snow settled on his shoulders as he looked slowly, deliberately at the small house. His eyes were cold, calculating, scanning every inch like he expected a threat. "That's my son," Henry whispered. "Elliot Walker." The billionaire's name she would soon hear on every news station. Before Henry could stand, the front door of the house swung open with a force that made Talia jump. "Dad!" Elliot crossed the room in 3 strides. "Are you hurt? Did anyone touch you?" "Did she?" "Elliot," Henry interrupted, his voice firm despite the exhaustion, "stop." Elliot turned finally, really looking at Talia for the first time. His eyes were sharp as blades. Suspicious. Guarded. "You found him?" he demanded. Talia steadied her breath. "He showed up at my door in the storm. He was freezing. I just helped him." Elliot's gaze flicked around the room, the peeling paint, the broken heater, the stack of unpaid bills on the table. To him, everything in the house probably shouted desperation. Need. Motive. "Talia saved my life," Henry said firmly, as if reading his son's thoughts. "If she hadn't brought me inside, I wouldn't have survived the night." But Elliot didn't soften. "Dad, let's get you checked by our doctor. We have an ambulance outside." Henry reached into Elliot's coat and retrieved a sleek black card, heavy, metallic, expensive in a way Talia had never touched in her life. He placed it gently in her hand. "This is not charity," he said. This is gratitude. Talia stared at it, stunned. Henry. I can't accept. You can, he said. Because you asked for nothing. That is the rarest kindness. Before she could argue again, Elliot took Henry's arm and helped him toward the SUV. Henry paused one last time. Talia, he said, his voice carrying through the icy air, you opened your door on the coldest night of my life. I won't forget that. And then the convoy door shut, sealing him inside a world she'd never known. Talia watched the vehicles drive away, disappearing down the white road. The house felt silent again. Still. Empty. She looked at the card in her hand. It wasn't just a card. It was an open door. A few days later, a letter arrived. Inside it was a handwritten note. Talia, thank you for the warmth you gave me when the world was frozen. I would like to offer something in return, a home where the cold can't follow you anymore. Elliot will contact you. Please let us help. Henry Walker. Talia sat at her tiny table, tears blurring the words. She had opened her door expecting nothing. But kindness, she realized, doesn't disappear, it circles back in ways you never expect. And sometimes, the stranger you save, becomes the blessing that saves you.